Amy Gardner here. So for those of you that don't know me, I have been in Tupperware for, 9.5 years. It's been a while, and I absolutely love everything about it. When I started, I had two little ones, and they were 2 and 4. And now I have three kiddos, and they are, um, gosh, they're 6, 12, and my oldest just turned 14. But I love these products because they're so fun to use and easy, and my kids can be in the kitchen and helping me out. And we have some pretty amazing recipes to go along with a lot of our products, right? And so what I am using tonight is one of our kitchen heroes, and it's a hero because okay, so if you're anything like me, you're busy, you're on the go, but you still want to have a nice home cooked meal, right? Healthy-ish, right? Sometimes they're not so healthy, but it's better at home than it is going through the drive-through all the time. So one of our go-tos is the stack cooker. So I am using this tonight to make caramel apple bars, and they're really good and I know this because I may have tried one earlier, but anyway, they're fun to make. So this is something fun that you can make, and you can share it with your kids, or even you don't have to have any kids to eat it or to make it or to share it, but it is something that is really yummy. So anyway, let me tell you about the stack cooker, because the stack cooker is one of my go-to products that I use daily, right? Weekly, because it is so nice, because you can make in here. It's called a stack cooker because you can stack and cook, right? So it has the lid, which also inverts into a tray, or I also use it as a pedestal, and I'll tell you about that in here in a little bit. And it has a colander. So the colander, you can steam in here. But my main thing that I actually use the colander for is to brown my meat. And so like tonight, my youngest, because we had leftovers tonight, but to make what he had, we use this because I brown my meat in here. I always brown my meat in here. Because it takes up so much less time than standing at the stovetop, especially when you're trying to help the kids do homework, or maybe they're running around, and you don't have to keep your eye on the stove and stirring and wiping up hot grease, or worrying about the kids getting splattered with hot grease. That was something that I used to worry about all the time. I don't have to worry about that now because the stack cooker, so it has this colander, right? This colander, and it has this casserole dish. So this holds 1 3 quarts. So you can do a casserole in here, but right now we're using it to catch the grease from the burger. All right. So you put your lid on so it doesn't splatter all over in your microwave. And then it also drains it at the same exact time, which is another plus, right? So you don't have to take that extra time out to cook it and then to drain it. And it is awesome because it's all cooked up. It is a little chunky, so if you don't want it to be chunky, just run it through our supersonic chopper, which is amazing. And if you don't know about that, then you need to ask about that. All right. But what's really nice is that you have all that grease in here and gunk. Like there's extra gunk in here, and you'll see it and you'll be like, oh, really? That's the stuff that actually sticks to the meat when you are cooking it on the stovetop, and then you just drain it. So while it's cooking and draining at the same exact time, that extra gunk gets out. All right. So then you can just I let it harden right in here, and then I discard it right into the trash can. So super easy. But you can also steam vegetables in here. So if you wanted to put a little bit of water in here, put your vegetables in here, and then put the top on, and then put it in the microwave, and you can steam your vegetables. Vegetables. That came out kind of funny, didn't it? But anyway, so it also comes with the big casserole dish. So this is 3 quarts. All right. So if you wanted to, remember how I said it's a stack cooker. So you could, and this is a go-to meal for us. It has been. I just have to make double it now because my kids are bigger and they eat more. So we like to put rice down in here, all right, white rice, and we add to it, you can use brown rice or you can use jasmine rice, whatever tickles your fancy, all right, even maybe cauliflower rice. So and then you can add to it some cilantro or some lime juice, and it's really, really yummy. And then in here, so you're going to stack this right on top of that rice, okay? And you're going to put your chicken in here. And so one of our favorites is ranch chicken, and not like the dressing, but like the dry stuff. So you put your ranch in here, or not your ranch, your chicken in here, all right? And then on the top, you're going to invert it into a tray and you're going to do your vegetable on the top. So we usually do corn with our chicken and our rice, all right? So then we have a 3-course meal done in 10 minutes. And the chicken comes out nice and tender. The corn is fabulous. The rice is amazing. You don't have to worry about standing at the stovetop and having all different kinds of pots and pans, right? And then when we're done, we usually mix it all up, whatever leftovers we have, and then you have burrito night. So for your leftovers. And it comes with a seal. It actually comes with 2. Not sure where my one went, but hey, when you have 3 kids that do the dishes and put them away, sometimes those things get misplaced. But the seal goes right on top of this. And so then you have dishes for later. So you can save those leftovers in here. And then just take the seal off when you go to heat it up the next day. All right. It could even go on top of a salad. That would be really yummy. But I'm going to tell you guys, when I first bought this 9 years ago, the reason I first got the stack cooker, and I actually earned it. So I didn't really buy it. I earned it because with Tupperware, we have these amazing programs. And so it's a Confident Start program. And I wanted to earn it all. And so I worked my butt off, right, to try to get all these amazing products for free. And the stack cooker was one of them. And it was because I was told, all right, it does come with a cone too. And so on the middle, there's a little ring. And so you just put this cone down inside of that ring, and then you can do your meatloaf. Okay, so not every family likes meatloaf. My family loves meatloaf. At least my recipe, because it's kind of sweet. All right, so we use a pizza sauce for the sauce inside of the meatloaf. I'm not sure exactly how other people make meatloaf, but I know that's what we do in ours, and it is really good, and my kiddos absolutely love it. So, but it took an hour and a half to bake in the oven. So not only was I having to be at home by 4:30 to get the meal prepped, but I had to be home before that, like by 4 o'clock, and we were always out and about and doing things. So I had to be home by 4 on meatloaf night. Otherwise, we were going to be eating late. All right. And so we kind of eat at certain times, and 6 o'clock was the time. And so and we would prep the meatloaf. Well, I would prep the meatloaf, get it in the oven, and would bake for an hour and a half. So when I was told that I could do my meatloaf in the microwave in just 15 minutes, I was like, no way. Are you kidding me? Like, seriously? Seriously? And yes, it tastes amazing. It tastes just like it would in the oven, because I do put like a ketchup and brown sugar topping on it, and it still got crystallized. And so the kids love it. And I love it because they love it, and because it only takes 15 minutes. All right. So I do use the lid or the top casserole dish as a pedestal whenever I am cooking something in the microwave that I would cook in the oven uncovered. All right. So my cakes. All right. You can do a bundt cake in there, anywhere from 8 to maybe 15 minutes, depending on your microwave. So your pineapple upside down cake, yum. Apple upside down cake would be delicious too. But yeah, my big one that my kids love and their friends love is the monkey bread. So if you haven't had monkey bread in here, you'll need to get that recipe because it is outstanding. All right. So anyway, tonight I'm making these amazing bars. So it's pretty easy. I'm not actually going to use these 2 pieces. So I'm going to set those aside. Well, actually, those are 3. So I am going to use this, this dish, and we're going to take about 2 cups of chocolate chips, and I added into it about 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. All right, so I'm going to put this in for 30 seconds. So you want it when you're melting chocolate, you want to make sure that you are putting it in intervals, because you don't want it to get too hard. All right, you want to be able to stir it. So we are going to put that in intervals, pull it out, stir it up, and see how it goes. All right. But I am using one of our Clearly Elegant. I love, love, love these bowls because you can see what's inside of them. And they look like glass, right? So they're super pretty. And I just love them. And they're very practical. All right. So you can see that it's starting to, well, I don't know if you can actually see it, but it's starting to melt just a little bit. So I am going to take my spatula, just give it a little stir, and then we're going to put it back in. All right, for another 30 seconds. Okay, so there's chocolate chip on there, it'll melt. It's stuck to my spatula. That's right. So another 30 seconds. But what I love about this spatula is that it's heat resistant. So you don't have to worry about putting it in like a hot chocolate and it melting, because it's not going to melt. You can use this on a stovetop. There's most of the time when I do my scrambled eggs, I use the spatula because it's easy to stir up, right, the eggs, and it gets them all nice, and yeah, it's nice anyway. But I also use it for my sauces and my batter, so our cookie batter. All right, it's getting melted a little bit more. The recipe actually does not call for coconut oil, but I feel that the coconut oil helps it to melt a little bit better and not to get chunky. All right, so we'll do another 30 seconds. So when you have more chocolate chips, it takes a little bit longer than normal, right? So anyway, while that's doing that, I do have diced up apples. All right, so because we're making caramel apples, right? Caramel apple bars. But I learned that you want to make sure that these guys are not wet because there is a lot of moisture in your apples. And so I'm going to kind of just put them in my my colander to let them drain out a little bit. All right, let's see. This is looking good. Did you know that coconut oil is really good for you? And actually, coconut oil, I have heard that it helps with Alzheimer's, or dementia. So instead of cooking with extra virgin olive oil, there's a lot of times that I will cook with, I wouldn't do that in here though, for melting chocolate, just so you know, even before I heard this, but I do use a lot of coconut oil for instead of extra virgin olive oil. So just a little tip here. All right, now I have our rectangle form in here. Okay, this is actually in a freezer mate. Love this size freezer mate. It's great for your cookies. It's great for your cupcakes and your muffins and donuts. And this here silicone form. All right, so I am just going to pour, look at that. Can you see that? Okay, we're just going to pour our chocolate right in there. And I put it inside of here because when I go to put it into the refrigerator then, because you're going to want it to set, right? Which we're going to set that aside because we're going to have to melt our caramel too. But I can put the lid on it, and then I don't have to worry about anything getting into my bark or falling on it or it falling out or anything like that, because the freezer container, the Tupperware, it does seal, right? And so you don't have to worry about that. So there's lots of yummy chocolate in there. I'm just going to set that aside. All right, so while real quick, I'm going to put in here, and it's okay if there's extra chocolate in there. That means it's just going to get a little bit more flavor on our caramel. So I took a whole package, yeah, I know it's gonna be loud, of caramels. It's an 11-ounce package, all right, of caramels, and just unwrapped them. And we're gonna melt those up, all right? So those should not take as long as chocolate did. All right, but this is so yummy. Oh my gosh, who would have thought? Like, I saw this recipe, I'm like, oh my gosh, the kids are gonna love this. So we're gonna take pretzels. Whoops, throwing them at you. We're just gonna take our pretzels and we're gonna put them right in the chocolate and line them. So who here loves a little bit of sweet, a little bit of salty, loves their chocolate and the caramel? This is really yummy. So I should probably take a break for just a second so we can check on that caramel. And hopefully my internet is not going out when my microwave is going. Okay, so this like definitely didn't really do anything. But we'll just stir it up a little bit, just to make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom. All right. So anyway, my microwave tends to make my internet go out. So I don't think it's going out. So I think I'm good. If not, then I do apologize. All right. So anyway, love, and you could use like the square pretzels if you wanted to use the square pretzels. That would be yummy too. And they would actually, you would have more salty in here, wouldn't you? So I just take it and then cover and put, we'll just break up a little bit of the pretzels just so that we have pretzels all over. Look at that. Isn't that yummy? It looks like I missed a spot. I don't know where it was. Right here. All right, the pretzel there. All right, so let's check our caramel. And it is starting to get a little bit of melty in there. So we're just going to give it a little stir. But we're going to put it back in for just a little bit. Probably not 30 seconds because you don't want it to get too bad. All right, so we will put it in for 15. Normally, I would just put it in for 30 and stop it at 15, but with me talking, I tend to lose track of time. All right, so I have our microfiber towel here, and I'm just kind of, and it's clean, so there's no worries. All right, but I'm just gonna kind of damp, like just press the apples a little bit, just so that to try to get some of that extra moisture out, because if there's too much moisture in there, well, it'll create moisture on top of your apples and your caramel. So this looks so good. Oh my gosh. Yes, my kiddos are going to absolutely love me because this is going to be an afternoon snack. All right, so see how the caramel is very melty. So now we're going to actually stick the apples down in and then just stir them all together. And then we're going to pour it right on top of the pretzels. And it's going to be really thick, and that's okay. And then you'll put it in your refrigerator and you let it harden. If you wanted to, you could always put some more chocolate. You can drizzle more chocolate right on top of it. I think there's plenty of chocolate though that they're going to have in there. So I'm just going to take this back over here, seal off of it, and pour the apples right on top. And then you're going to set it in your microwave, like I said, or not your microwave, but your refrigerator for a few hours. The longer you let it sit, probably the better. And if you wanted to, now I only used one apple for this one. All right. So the recipe I did earlier, it said to use 3 apples. And so I tried that and there was a lot of apples. And so I ended up just putting apples in the caramel and then letting the kids go to town on the apples and for a snack. So they enjoyed that too. So even if you just did the caramel and the apples and then let it harden up a little bit, kids will love it. All right, so ta-da! Look at that. Isn't that pretty? And we're going to put this on here. And then we're going to put it in the refrigerator. Like I said, at least 3 hours. But look at here. This is what it's going to look like when you are all done. All right. So, ta-da! Look at the bark. It's chocolate and pretzels, and it just came out so yummy.